Hello. Oi. Who asked you in? You stop that. Oh, Globbits.
Greetings all and welcome back to Globbits Gaming Channel. We're currently on a ×5 weekend. I haven't posted any footage or videos up for a very long time. It's nearly about a week now. For one reason and one reason only. We've currently started as a clan playing ranked team games. As you can see here, you get a separate team tab when you do so. What random teams, basically, well, I say random teams, team battles actually have changed into now is you've got two options. Alright, you can either go for unranked games where you join just a normal team battle mode game and play with 7 of your friends or 6 of your friends, and then you've also got ranked battles. Now, what this is basically all about is your team must consist of between vehicles of tier 6 and tier 8 and a total tier points value of 54. Now, what we normally run with is either 5 tier 8s or 2 tier 7s, or 6 tier 8s and 1 tier 6, I think it is. Yeah, we usually use a Cromwell for this one. And we're actually doing quite well. We're actually currently on ladder 4 in Division A. And we've been playing for around about, let's have a just look at our, 60% win rate out of 23 battles. And there's our average stats and all this kind of stuff. Now, you get to choose your team. Now, this is the team I've chosen. And only these players can play in these ranked games. And we're actually not doing too bad on the leaderboard. I think we were first in this division last time we played, but it seems that these horrible individuals here have managed to beat us to the punch, as it were. And you go up the ladders and progress, and it gets more and more difficult and more challenging as you go up the ranks, if you like. Basically, the ranks as you go up, you get better players, and it's really good. Now, reason why I haven't been around is because I've basically been grinding towards a particular tank that we use quite frequently within our team games, the T54 lightweight. And as you can see here, I managed to unlock it. It's completely skinted me of all my gold, all my silver, but I managed to unlock it. Now, what makes this tank special is it's a light tank with really good armour. And it's kind of got a place within the meta, as it were. If you're not playing, the general choice that we go for heavies is T32s, but I haven't got one of those, so I've been grinding up to the T54 lightweight. And it took me through quite a special little tank that's quite dear to my heart. I thought I would hate it when I first played it. The LTTB, or the Learn to Troll Bro, as I've started to call it. It's a very good, capable Tier 7 light tank. If you haven't got one, I would generally suggest buying one, or at least grinding to it. Unfortunately, with the tank, you have to go through some pretty crappy tanks to get there. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not go through this brand of the tech tree, because as you can see here, I have never owned a T34. But back in the day, you used to go for the T50, then the T50-2, and then they took the T50-2 out of the game and replaced it with this thing. Now, when I first bought the MT25, I thought it was garbage. And to be perfectly honest with you, it kind of was. Because I didn't know how to play scouts. I ain't going to lie to you. I didn't know how to play scouts. Now I do. I've got a better idea. It's not actually that bad a tank. It's quite a capable little vehicle. And it leads on to the LTTB. So you go from the T26, T46, T50, T34, and then to the MT25. When you get to here, this is when the real scout tanks start to come along. The T50 is a light tank, but it's tier 4. Tier 6 light tanks and tier 7 light tanks are where it's at. Okay, this is where I've had some of my more fun games. I've had some really good fun games playing in the light tanks. And it's also a really good, effective way of grinding efficiency. Just going through the bits and pieces in the garage, okay, it costs you around about 59,000 experience to get the LTTB, so you do have to grind a little bit with the MT25. And the reason why I've been busy, I unlocked this vehicle. Oh, let's have a look. Let's have a look at my service record. How many games have I played in the LTTB? LTTB. Let's have a look. See, where is it? Let's go for tiers. Organise it by tier. It's tier 7. LTTB. 52 games with a 67% win rate and a 971 average XP per battle. Now, as you do the maths here, you'll know I did free XP quite a lot of the experience of the T54. But, you know, 52 battles with a 67% win rate and my average sort of games in it, I do quite well. I actually survive more than I usually do as well, which is kind of cool, which is testament to the LTTB's staying power, as it were. I do an average of 1.51 damage compared to damage received. I kind of look at this when I look at how effective I am in tanks. And the destruction ratio, I kill on average 2.25 things per battle. On average experience, I think my maximum experience is, yeah, it's quite high. So I did quite well in it. Now, the tank itself, it's a light tank that has some quite unique properties. It's got quite a few hit points. Let's compare it to its direct competitor. All right, no strings and bones about this, ladies and gentlemen. Its direct competitor is this thing. All right, the Walker Bulldog. It's got more hit points, okay, and it's also, from what I can gather, let me just gather them together. Let me make the Bulldog a primary tank, so therefore I can adjust it slightly differently so it's closer to it. Let's just make it a primary vehicle. Right, so we've got 24 tons maximum weight limit. So with my setup, I go for rammer, optics, and vents. I tend to use this more of an active scout than a passive scout, but with the view range, it can do either. With the optics, with the crew setup I've got. Okay, so 22 tons, 700 horsepower engine with a top speed of 68 kilometers an hour. Now, compared to the Bulldog on paper is faster, but the LTTB has a better power to weight ratio. What this means is the LTTB doesn't go as fast as the Bulldog, but it's a little bit more manoeuvrable. It's doing better than climbing up hills and things like that. As from what I can sort of, now the stat padders out there and the stat whores out there will realise that it probably isn't, but I just feel that it is. Traverse speeds are different. The LTTB doesn't turn as fast as the Bulldog, but the LTTB, as far as I'm aware, as far as I can gather, turns better at speed. It's the armour that sells me, really. Now, Bulldog maximum anywhere gets 25mm of armour, but the LTTB gets 90mm at the front. This front plate right here is 90mm thick, okay, and it's sloped back quite well. Also, the turret front's quite good as well. I do tend to bounce quite a few shells from other scouts. You ain't going to stop. The thing is with light tanks, they get tier 8 matchmaking. They get treated as a tier 8 tank, so you're going to be facing tier 8 heavies and mediums, and you ain't going to stop shells from them. But scouts and smaller caliber guns, you really can bounce shots when it really matters in this thing, whereas in the Bulldog, if they hit you, you're dead. This thing is made out of chocolate and ammo racks. I've been ammo racked more times in this vehicle than I care to bloody well remember. In this thing, though, not so much. I tend to find it's a little bit more survivable. Now, I'm not saying the Bulldog in any way is a bad tank before you lot start slagging me off in the comments. Walker Bulldog is a very, very capable tank. The advantage between the two comes to the guns. Now, this thing is a ridiculously long 85mm. Now, what this 85mm is all about, excuse me, it's got reasonably good DPM. It fires about 12 rounds a minute, so it's got about, with my setup with vents and rammer, about a 4.9 second reload, I think. 170 pen, which is okay for a scout, and it's got 180 alpha damage. It's got slightly more alpha damage than the Bulldog's gun. Now, it's not compared to that one. Let's compare it to that one. Let's just fit that quickly. Now, the Bulldog's gun has a faster rate of fire. Okay, so it is going to get off more rounds per minute, and a slightly better penetration. Now, the good thing about the Bulldog is it shoots APCR as its standard ammunition, whereas the LTTB doesn't. The LTTB shoots AP, which has got a slightly slower shell travel time, which can be an issue when you're leading shots. The thing I don't like about the Bulldog, though, is it fires heat for its premium rounds. I don't really like heat, and it doesn't get that much more penetration with the heat shells, so I don't tend to load them. With the LTTB, though, you can tip it up to 216mm of penetration, which is kind of like tier 8 heavy sort of standards. I mean, the Tiger has got round about the same penetration, and things like that. Tiger 2, sorry. Now, it's the 150 damage over versus the 180 damage that gets me, and also the accuracy. I feel these stats don't ring true. I find the Bulldog's gun a lot more inaccurate, but it does aim faster. And the LTTB, you do need to sit still a little bit longer. So this is more of a, the way I rate these guns, this is more of a run around, active scout, sort of snappy, brawly gun. And this one's more of a, let's take our shots and take our time. But if you're at close range, that doesn't matter. Okay, the aiming time also doesn't matter. If you're brawling, it doesn't matter. And over the Bulldog, if it's carrying the same gun, if it's carrying this gun, I would rate my chances. I honestly would. Now, troll in the comments if you want, I don't give a shit. The advantage with the Bulldog is it gets an auto-loader. Now, in team battles, the auto-loader kind of rings true for me. I really do like the auto-loader because it has 10 shells, but it's got a ridiculously long reload time. It's exactly the same gun, but look at the accuracy. Alright, your accuracy on the two guns Alright, the autoloader is a lot less accurate. So if you're going to do long range work, well, it's not that good. It's got a longer aiming time, and if we compare it, the only difference between the two is the fact that this thing gets an autoloader. But if you're into your single shots, this is a viable option. I'm actually considering making this part of our team setup. 2 LTTBs and 5 tier 8s, lightweights or whatever. Alright, because I think this is a viable option. The only problem with this is it's quite big. It's not difficult to hit, but yeah. Your rate of fire, we've done all that. The turret traverse and the hull traverse, 48 and 48, isn't too bad at all. I don't have any issues circling tanks. Turret traverse could be a little bit quicker. And the view range is comparable to the bulldog. The bulldog's got a little bit more, but what's 10 metres between friends? Okay, I basically go for a standard consumable setup, and I carry 32 rounds of AP ammo, 9 rounds of APCR, and 1 round of HE just in case. The HE penetration on this gun's actually not that bad either, from what I can gather. Yeah, 44mm a pen for a 300 alpha. If you're shooting at scouts, you know, like bulldogs for example, shoot a bulldog with this, you'll do 300 damage. You know, it is what it is. For crew skills, now what I've done with this tank, I'm slowly working my way through the missions. Just to give you a heads up, this is my progress on the Stug 4 mission. Light tanks I've done all the way through. I've done all the light tanks. We're just going through them again to do the honours missions, and I'm slowly working my way through the mediums to get honours as well, and I'm doing this one now. I'm not really going to do much with the artillery mission because all I've got is Burton and S51, but as I get the crew members, I'm sticking them in the LTTB while I was grinding it. What I'm also going to do now is, once I've got this fully unlocked and everything, well, as soon as I've got the T-54 lightweight unlocked, I'm going to put my 4th female crew member in here. So I'm going to make sure I grind the Heavy Tank Mission 15 tonight as my task for tonight, to get the 4th crew member. Because they start off with Brothers in Arms, or Sisters in Arms, I think. Yeah, Sisterhood of Steel, which is basically Brothers in Arms. And I've gone for Camo, Sixth Sense, Camo, Snapshot, Camo, Smooth Ride. Some would advocate repairs, but to be honest with you, in this thing, if you're facing tier 8s and you get tracked, you're kind of screwed. And you've got a repair kit. And the loader, I'll go for Brothers in Arms, Safe Stowage, Camo. That's not a bad option. There's lots of different options with your crew, but you kind of want the 100% perks. So, what I'm going to show you now is how I play my light tank / scouts in a reasonably good battle I had last night. So let's get to the gameplay, guys. So here we are then, in the LTTB, and we are on Sacred Valley on a 49% chance. I've turned this on now because I like to know what the odds are, but the teams look pretty balanced with regards to myself and the A43 are the best players on our team, who he's not very happy about being in this match because he thinks, you know, Wargaming is trolling him. But he's in a tier 8 match with only 4 tier 8s. I'm liking my chances. Now, there's a really good little spotting bush that I use on this map. This isn't the kind of map for scouts, really. There's lots of cover, but there's not really a lot of fantastic places to go. Now, up here, if you just nip over the top here, this is an encounter mode, so the cap circle's in the south. These little bushes, you better be very careful there because you're going to end up tracking yourself. But these bushes are very, very good. Now, I always knock this tree down to start with. There's no chance of any enemy seeing it, and I've made myself a perfect little nest. Now, considerations you have to take into account here. The hill over there, this area, is within render range. So if you get spotted and there's things up in that hill over there, you need to be aware of that because they can hit you and shoot over you. I think there's a few examples of that in this game. You've got good views down here, as you can see there. I can see the 1375 making his way in, so that's an early spot on him, so I know he's there, and that's really, really handy to have. And you've also got view range on this area here. So anything sneaking through these bushes or these houses here up to the common heavy tank camping area, you've lit them all up. And as you can see from my mod, I've got pretty much view range all the way to their spawn point. So if any of them come this way, I'm going to have easy access and spots to them, which, you know, is kind of handy in the early stages of the game. Now, I try not to fire in the early stages. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one big tip if you're scouting, do not be the first thing that they see, because if you do, you're going to get it. I managed to spot that Borsig quite quickly, so I know he's in the area, okay, and I can hear things firing in the distance. Alright, no big deal so far. And we have a 1375. Again, I decide at that stage to take a shot at it. Now, what I do then is immediately retreat. Okay, I retreat, alright, to back off so they can't shoot back at me. I realise there's nothing else spotting me. I didn't even get spotted by that 1375, I don't think. So I'm just going to retake the original bush. So I've managed to get 178 damage in, and for no real return fire whatsoever. Now, I have had people moan at me for playing like this in the early stages. What general heavy and medium tank players aren't very good expect you to do in a scout is they expect you to be all the way over the other side of the map scouting out all the things. But you've got to be wise when you're playing your scouts and your light tanks, because, you know, you can't afford to get spotted. However, you can afford to track A43s and set them on fire. That guy loses his shit later on. Just be aware of this guy. Now, as you notice on the side there, onto the in the thing, whenever I fire at a target, I instantly ping it. Now, what I've got my please shoot at this person on my middle mouse button. So whenever I fire at something, I instantly click please shoot this guy. It tends to help the friendly team. Aha! Right, I took a hit there from that direction. That was a prime example of what happened there. I was hoping they did do this in the replay. I got spotted and I got a hit from there, but it was HE. Not sure what would be shooting me with HE. It's nothing big. I think it might be the AT-15 up in that area up there. So they're actually shooting at me. But I take this bush location back again. I'm still spotted, but there's nothing actually looking at me. Hopefully I'll drop off the radar. I think they're actually shooting at him. Alright, they're shooting at that guy. And actually, yes, they are. They're shooting at the E25 behind me. I don't think they can actually see me yet. And at this stage, I haven't actually seen my sixth sense go off either. So I don't actually think I was spotted for this. In the game, though, I did believe I was. But we're back to the usual shenanigans. There's a Borsig. Bang a shell into him. The reverse speed on this tank's very, very good. That's where that power to weight ratio comes in. It allows you to shift your tank backwards really, really quickly. And this is a really good little ridgeline if you can get shots into them from here. If that Borsig was a little bit taller. We are taking incoming fire though, but it's long range and it's inaccurate, and I managed to sneak a little shot into that guy. You know, I'll take any damage I can get really. I think it actually was the T-34-85 or maybe him. I'm not going to pen this guy from here, but I ping a shot because I might hit the cupola. I'm completely safe. The reason why I'm doing this is I'm completely safe from being spotted from that side. The only thing that can spot me are these guys, which if you look at the map, even if they're at full bino range, they still can't see me because I'm using the Tiger, the KV, the A43 and all those guys' view range. Alright, they can't see me from there. So I'm safe from the things that are going to spot me. I'm just going to take the bush location again. And I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I'm not going to go running off and get myself killed. Now the T-28's made a good push along with the KV-4, and this is a prime target. Get rid of the scout, back off, and that's the first time in the game I believe that I actually got spotted. So now things are going to be shooting at me. So I need rocks between me and the things. I must get rocks between me and the things, otherwise I'll just get nailed. But again, I've dropped. I know. How do I know I'm no longer spotted? Well, easy thing to do is that guy there ain't there anymore, which means I spotted him. Nobody else did. As soon as he drops off my radar, I've dropped off his and everybody else's. Okay, but now we can start putting work on this Borsig, because I think he's made a bit of a silly mistake here. Can we get the Borsig? No, I don't know like we can. But we're going to stay looking at the AMX. Now, I've noticed here the GW Panther has killed the Panther 2. The T-28's putting damage into the Borsig. And then the AMX 1375 decides to make a move along with the A44. Now, those two are platooned together. T-28 nails the Borsig, but he's taking hits from the A44. So I decided now's the time to break cover and go and help this guy. I've got a decent gun, I'm in a capable tank, and this is when it starts to troll me. Hello, little French thing.
Critical hit.
Bounce, crit, no damage. Critical hit. Track him, no damage. Are you kidding me right now? Right click aim. Low roll, fantastic.
Target lost.
And managed to take him out. The M4 took him out. And this is the bit where the A44 loses his mind.
Ready to fire.
Miss him on the first shell. He manages to take out the T-28, then I managed to kill him. Just keep an eye on chat, guys. It's hilarious. Apparently, I'm a bastard. Yes, I am. Yeah, and this is when I just start trolling him. I've already done a video on the poison nature of chat, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So, what my decision is now, my theory now, is we're pretty much okay on this side. There's very unlikely anything's going to be over there apart from artillery. So I'm going to go and nail him. If I go nail him, the general consistency is now anything camping is pretty much safe to sit in bushes. For example, E25s, VKs and all that kind of stuff. And it gives us free reign, which means that the guys on the enemy team have to actually think about trying to kill us rather than just spotting us and waiting for artillery. So I'm off to go kill artillery. And it gives me a really good advantageous position. If I just drive across that open ground there, I'm just going to get annihilated by everything that's sitting up in like H8, H7 up on that hill there. So I decide to have a bit of a wee look-see and take out artillery. Now, I carry on trolling him in chat. I probably shouldn't have done this, but you know what? He's a dick and I don't want, you know, here you go, fuck you, bastard. You know what? Screw you, brain. You know what I mean? So, we're back in the thick of it. I'm just trying to work out how I've broken my camera now. It appears I've broken the camera. Please don't tell me it's locked in this location, because that'd be kind of sucky. Bear with me a second, technical difficulty. Let me just pull out the mouse and put it back in again. I appear to have broken the mouse. This is a small problem. I'm going to fix it live on camera for you guys. This is Globbits technical difficulty section. I think we're going to be alright. Alright, let's try that. There we go, we're back in business. Okay, so I'm searching for artillery. It's a very agile tank. Now, I notice artillery's behind me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep moving. He's completely isolated on his own. Only needs to see a little bit at the top of his tank. He fires and misses. Alright, all the time I'm trolling the enemy A44 player. Just to, you know, because I can. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working these guys up here. Now, I need to stay as far away from them as I can. I'll try and put some effective firing because I'm using somebody else's spotting. I'm using the T32 spotting. Now, prime example, I've mentioned this in hundreds of my videos, in all my videos when I'm fighting things. If all you can see is their outline, there's no way they can spot you when you fire. Alright, and this is what I'm going to work this Hellcat over, because that Hellcat can quite easily see me from here if he's got optics. Another low roll. I decide to try and take out the T58, and I miss him. I should have concentrated on the Hellcat, but never mind, because the Hellcat manages to make it behind some bushes. But
enemy armor is destroyed.
Destroy him in his last known location, and I put a blind shot trying to hit the T. What was it? The T Type 58. Yeah, I was trying to hit the Type 58, and there's an easy 2, or a Sherman easy 2. I'm just going to try and push forward a little bit now. Now, this is the point where I decide I'm on 2 kills. I've done 1500 damage. If I die now, it won't be that much of a problem. And then all the heavies appear. So what I'm going to do now, what is my best defence? Mobility. So hitting rocks is not normally the greatest. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm right-click aiming. I'm concentrating on driving, and then I release my gunner because I wanted to change targets. Okay, I use a lot of right-click aim when I'm playing scouts. I'm doing it again. This is all right-click aiming, guys. I'm aiming for the centre of mass. I've got his side. I don't need to aim for weak spots. As soon as that reticle turns green, I know I can hit him. But I've taken a bit of a pasting because I'm taking on 3 heavy tanks here. But while they're shooting at me, they're not shooting at that fella who's making his way around to basically annihilate them. I'm just annoying them, just playing harassment, just harassing them, shooting them in weak spots if I can, just being a general annoyance, hitting rocks as well, that's always good, and just generally being a pain in the arse. Hit the rock again. Again, the reticle's not facing on the tank. I shouldn't have been firing those shots, but as soon as it turns green, we take some hits and we kill them. Alright, it's all good. Now, I'm going to carry on up the hill. The AT-15's gone completely YOLO down to the friendly base. Right click aim. As soon as it turns green, let it aim. Take him out. It's as easy as that when you're shooting at light skin things. Now, where do you think that AMX has gone? Where would you be in an AMX? I know where I'd be. Down here. Alright. And that's exactly where the bugger is. That's a full health AMX. Thankfully, he donks his first shot, and I'm just scared to get the hell out of here. Now, with hindsight, I should have turned round. I should have turned round here. I shouldn't have stopped to take that shot.
This vehicle has had it.
I should have just turned around and ran away. But now, we've gone from, if you remember, we were 8-5 down, or 5-8 down. We're now 13-9. This game's pretty much in the bag. All the guys have to do now is basically take out the AT-15, which they're more than capable of doing. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the replay. Basically what they do is they cap out to a win. But I showed you this video for my performance rather than theirs. It was a bit... The AMX really does kind of... Could have really had a field day here if he'd have seriously... The AT-15 is just being an AT-15. No idea. Not really a great deal happens. So what we'll do is we'll pause the replay there, guys, and we'll go to the post-game stats. Goes without saying, not a bad game. Managed to net my mastery badge, which I always aim for in the tanks I try and grind before I sell them. Managed to get a fire for effect, which isn't difficult in an LTTB, but it's caused more damage than the hit points of your vehicle. I always try and aim for this if I can. Fighter, kill 4 or 5 enemy vehicles. Spotter, duelist, that's a good one. Basically kill 2 enemies that cause damage to you, and bruiser. Okay. Damage enemy vehicles, modules, or injure crew members at least 5 times. That's what you get for blowing tracks off and killing crew members. I get patrol duty as well, which isn't a bad thing to try and aim for. Patrol duty and scout are pretty good. It's difficult to get scout on Sacred Valley though, unless you go YOLO and try and try and spot everything in the early stage. But you just end up throwing your tank away. So I managed to damage the M6, critted him, did several critical hits on the AMX 1375. Yeah, pretty average game. Well, not an average game. It's above average. 1483 base experience. Okay, and that's not bad at all. Not bad at all as far as I'm concerned. 2,687 damage, 5 kills, and patrol duty medal. I made quite a bit of money as well. While I've been grinding this vehicle, it's very, very cheap to fix. It only costs 7,600 credits to fix, which compared to like tier 8 heavies and stuff is really, really, really good. So you make 50,000 credits and you make a straight profit of 40, all right, which is not bad at all. All right, so all in all, I love the LTTB. Is it a viable option to replace the Walker Bulldog? That remains to be seen. But as it stands at the moment, I am thoroughly enjoying the LTTB, and I will keep it. It's a keeper. I'm going to put some camo on it, which basically means I'm going to keep it. Unfortunately, though, the crew are going to be going into the T54 lightweight. So, as far as I'm concerned, guys, that's the video over and done with. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Catch you now. Bye.